At the corner of 8th and Cass Street in downtown Traverse City, you'll find the Old Town Playhouse, and this is the Stage Door. Hi, I'm Don Kuhlhorn, and this is Stage Door for September 2013. I'm here in the dressing room of the Old Town Playhouse, the men's dressing room. We're setting up. We have 1 month to go for Les Miserables, which I'll tell you about in just a little bit. But right now, this is the beginning of our 2013-2014 season, our 52nd or 53rd year in operation. In the past, we have had a season that ran September through May. But because of logistics, because we have Les Mis coming, we've moved our season to October and ending in June. So in this particular show, I'm going to enumerate our play selections for this season, and I'm going to do it in a chronological order, and that is every show in sequence rather than all 5 main stage and all 4 studio lumped together. I think it's going to give us a better idea of of how the show flows. I must inform you that I've freely copied all my information off the web from Wikipedia and other sources, so a lot of what you're going to hear is going to be directly from quotes from the web. The theme for the Playhouse for this season is Make a Date with Drama. So why don't we just find out what all this drama is about? Opening our season on main stage is Les Miserables, a sung-through musical based on the novel of the same name by French poet and playwright Victor Hugo. It has music by Claude Michel Schoenberg, original French lyrics by Alain Bobly and Jean-Marc Nettel, with an English-language libretto by Herbert Kretzmer. My apologies for my French pronunciations. Set in early 19th century France, it is the story of Jean Valjean and his quest for redemption after serving 19 years in jail for having stolen a loaf of bread for his starving sister's child. Valjean tries to become an honest man, but he is relentlessly pursued by a police inspector named Javert. Along the way, Valjean and a slew of characters are swept into a revolutionary period in France, where a group of young idealists make their last stand at a street barricade, and boy gets girl. That is a shortened version of the entire play, certainly. Our 3-hour play has 2 casts of principals. These are the main players. We call them the Macintosh cast and the Bobili cast. We play alternative nights. The ensemble plays every night. We open October 4th and run for 5 weekends, Thursday through Saturday. Tickets are on sale now.
Aware that this can happen to you because the thing that will mark our production, is that we are including the audience. We are in the aisles, we are in the balcony, we are in their face. They will become an urchin by the time they are finished.
Taking a picture. We focus it, get it in good place. Our second presentation of the 2013-14 season is at the Depot Theater, and it's called The Dining Room. It is a play by the American playwright A.R. Gurney. The play is a comedy of manners set in a single dining room where 18 scenes from different households overlap and intertwine. And this is from the back of the playbook. The play is set in the dining room of a typical well-to-do household, the place where the family assemble daily for breakfast and dinner and for any and all special occasions. The action is a mosaic of interrelated scenes, some funny, some touching, some rueful, which taken together create an in-depth portrait of a vanishing species, the upper-middle-class WASP, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. The actors change roles, personalities, and ages with virtuoso skill as they portray a wide variety of characters, from little boys to stern grandfathers, and from giggling teenage girls to Irish housemaids. Each vignette introduces a new set of people and events. A father lectures his son on grammar and politics. A boy returns from boarding school to discover his mother's infidelity. A senile grandmother doesn't recognize her own sons at Christmas dinner. A daughter whose marriage is a shambles pleads furtively to return home, and etc. Dovetailing swiftly and smoothly, the varied scenes coalesce ultimately into a theatrical experience of exceptional range, compassionate humor, and abundant humanity. The play requires 3 women and 3 men who play 16 characters each. Now, don't hold me to that number, but it means a lot of work regardless. Here is an interview I did with Thomas Webb, the director of the dining room. He explains what he wants to see during auditions. Okay, here we are with Tom Webb, director of the dining room, which auditions in September, goes up in November. What dates do they audition?
The auditions are September 9th and 10th.
9th and 10th, 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock at the Old Town Playhouse Depot Studio
The Depot
Theater,
Studio.
off of Woodmere.
Off of Woodmere, we got that. So tell me about the dining room. What is the play, The Dining Room?
The dining room was Mr. Gurney's first big hit on Broadway around 1980. And he's most famous for the play The Love Letters, which was a few years later that won the Pulitzer. The dining room was nominated for the Pulitzer Prize, and it is a play about life and the exigencies of life, told from the perspective of the dining room table, the memory of the dining room table. Okay. That is the storyteller. It is 18 different stories, playlets, scenes, and has 60 characters in it, played by 6 actors, 3 actors.
60 characters and 60 characters, 60 characters.
60 characters.
And 6 actors.
So each actor will play in one scene a 5-year-old birthday boy, and in another scene a patriarch father, and another scene a man having an affair with a woman whose son comes in.
Nice.
An actress will be an agent, a real estate agent, and then an elderly lady with Alzheimer's. So it requires these actors to play a wide range of roles.
Okay, all right. When they're playing these roles, do they need falsetto voices, pinched voices for youngsters, tremulos for old people?
No, how they play a 5-year-old is going to be determined as we rehearse and depends on the actor. There's nothing worse than a falsetto that's fake.
Right.
But each character does have some differences in voice. How do you portray the character when you don't have costume changes, one single costume, very limited props, very limited set, to show that it means the actor has to portray his intent very clearly and very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. What are you going to expect from the audition? Are they going to be from script? Do you want to memorize piece?
No memorized piece. What I want is that, number one, to read the play before you come in. The auditions will be reading some scenes from the play, but also reading from other source materials, not based on the play, but will be show the different characters. So they might be reading an article from the Express, and I would say, read this as a 5-year-old boy, or read this as a patriarchal father that's trying to instruct his kids on proper table manners.
Okay. And when are we going to be doing the auditions once again?
The auditions are September 9th and 10th at 7 p.m.
Now, do you want them? Are you going to begin at 7 p.m.? Is that when people should register for 7?
No, they need to be there and be registered by 7 p.m.
Okay.
So we'll be ready to start registering by 6:30.
Okay.
And the play goes up is on November 9th, I think. The second Friday in November, until the 23rd.
And that's going to be pretty much Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then there's a Sunday performance as well.
One Sunday matinee.
Okay. And then what's your tentative rehearsal schedule? And I know depends on the people and their availability and so forth.
Right now, it's going to be Monday through Thursday, and it will vary depending on the scenes that we're playing. May have staggered start times. Not everyone has to be there every night, and there will be a lot of table work at the beginning.
Okay. Just for those who don't understand table work, what's that?
That's sitting around the table reading the play,
Okay.
working on the intent of each character for each scene, and talking about the scene and what they were doing before the scene and after the scene to get the total play in mind.
Okay. September 9 and 10?
9 and 10.
Monday, Tuesday.
Monday, Tuesday.
Break a leg, Tom.
It'll be fun.
Auditioning in October and playing in December around Christmas time is our Christmas show on Main Stage. It's A Wonderful Life, a live radio play. And this is the same movie version, only it's on the live stage. And T. Charles Erickson writes about this as he wrote a review for the Cleveland newspaper. It's A Wonderful Life, a live radio play is exactly what it says it is. 5 actors, supported by sound effects men, deliver the lines of all the characters from the movie. 4 are dressed in fashion, suggesting that their characters live in the golden age of radio, almost certainly the 1940s. The 5th character appears to be a 21st century guy who has wandered onto a dusty, deserted old radio station and sees the others as ghosts. In short order, though, he is interacting with them. In fact, he finds himself cast in the role of George Bailey, originally played by Jimmy Stewart. This play has been is just exactly the same, only it's live, and everybody, all 5 players, play all the characters in the movie. So be aware for this one in December. To open the new year of 2014, our January main stage presentation is A Games Afoot by Ken Ludwig. It's the winner of the 2012 Mystery Writers of America Edgar Allan Poe Awards Best Play. It is December 1936, and Broadway star William Gillette, admired the world over for his leading role in the play Sherlock Holmes, has invited his fellow cast members to his Connecticut castle for a weekend of revelry. But when one of the guests is stabbed to death, the festivities of this isolated house of tricks and mirrors quickly turns dangerous. Then it's up to Gillette himself, as he assumes the persona of his beloved Holmes, to track down the killer before the next victim appears. The danger and hilarity are non-stop in this glittering whodunit set during the Christmas holidays. An inspired whodunit, a snappy, clever drawing room mystery. There are twists in playwright Ken Ludwig's The Games Afoot that cause the audience to gasp. That from the Cleveland Plain Dealer. I'm reading from some other of the quotes, from the intriguing opening midi play within a play to the surprise last scene. A split second before final curtain, The Games Afoot gives you everything you love about great live theater. Billed as a comedy thriller, you will find yourself swept along for a wild and funny ride. And that from the Cleveland Examiner. Now, the cast requires 4 men, 4 females. It auditions in November. We'll let you know about that audition time, and the show opens in January. Our first studio show of the 2014 season and our second Depot studio show of the season is Venus in Fur. Thomas Novacek is the writer-director of a new play, an adaptation of the 1870 novel Venus in Furs, which inspired the term masochism. He is on the telephone, lamenting the inadequacies of all the actresses who showed up that day to audition for the lead character, Wanda van Duniju. Suddenly, at the last minute, a new actress, Vonda Jordan, bursts in, the exemplar of every fault he has decried, needy, crude, compliant, desperate. She convinces him to read through his play, and she is Wanda, and he is Severin von Krasinski. During this reading, Wanda shows astonishing insights into the novel, and her character and the balance of power shifts as the actress establishes total dominance over the director, exactly as in the novel. Venus and Fur is a two-person play set in the modern day by David Ives, who had his premiere off-Broadway at the Classic Stage Company in 2010 and on Broadway in 2011. The play auditions in November at the Playhouse and plays in the Depot Studio Theater in February. It's an adult-only play. I'm sure there's language. I haven't read it yet, but I will. I'm not sure what honorifics I can give about this next play. It's our next play in our main stage, and it's The Sound of Music. It is a musical. Music by Richard Rogers, lyrics by Oscar Hammerstein II, and a book by Howard Lindsay and Russell Krauss. It is based on the memoir of Maria von Trapp, the story of the Trapp family singers, and it's the many songs from the musicals have become standard, such as Edelweiss, My Favorite Things, Climb Every Mountain, Do Re Mi, and the title song, The Sound of Music. This is the original Broadway production, or the original Broadway production. It was starring Mary Martin and Theodore Bickle, opened on November 16, 1959. The show has enjoyed numerous productions and revivals since then. It was adapted as a 1965 movie musical starring Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer, which won 5 Academy Awards. The Sound of Music was the final musical written by Rogers and Hammerstein. Hammerstein died of cancer 9 months after the Broadway premiere. This is a play we've done several times before and we'll do several times again. It has some great music and it will audition. I believe it's going to audition early January. I'll have all that information for you. It is men, women, children, dogs. It's a great play and a great audition piece. Chicago police officers Joey and Denny are longtime partners and best friends. Joey is single and lonely, and Denny is married with children. But both men have flaws and serious problems. Introverted Joey struggles with a drinking problem and secretly loves Denny's wife, Connie. Angry, tough guy Denny can barely disguise his racism and cheats on Connie with a prostitute on his beat. The two men offer contrasting descriptions to internal affairs interrogators of their harrowing experiences. They relate how Walter Lawrence, a pimp that Denny has harassed over the years, shoots a bullet through Denny's front window, causing flying glass to sever an artery in Denny's son's neck. Denny pursues Lawrence relentlessly, drawing Joey into a series of dangerous and incriminating activities. During a domestic disturbance call, the two return a frightened Vietnamese boy to a man who says he is a boy's uncle. The uncle turns out to be a cannibalistic serial killer who eats the boy. That's the play called A Steady Rain by Keith Huff. We will present in April in the studio, in the Depot Studio Theater. It'll audition sometime March, April, February, and I'll let you know about that. It's a two-person play, two men. The play alternates between two separate monologues and present moment dialogue scenes. Very heady play. Our last main stage play, presented in May, is Steel Magnolias. Annelle Dupree, a recent beauty school graduate, is hired by Truvy Jones to work in her home-based beauty salon. Milan Eatonton, a good friend of Truvy's, and her daughter Shelby arrive at Truvy's to prepare for Shelby's wedding, which is taking place later that day. Also arriving at the salon are Weezer, Boudreaux, a grouchy two-time widow, who claims that she is not crazy. She's just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. And Claire Belcher, also a widow who is cheerful and enjoys taking cracks at Weezer whenever possible, but also loves Weezer more than her luggage. Now, Steel Magnolias is a 1987 play by Robert Harling, which in turn deals with the playwright's experience with the death of his sister. As the title suggests, the main female characters can be both as delicate as magnolias and as tough as steel. It is a comedy. It is a wonderful dramatic play. It was made into a movie starring Daryl Hannah, Dolly Parton, Sally Field, Julia Roberts, Shirley MacLaine, Olympia Dukakis. But in this play, it is 6 women. It'll audition if it's in May, go back 2 months, somewhere around March. I'll let you know about that information. Our last play of the 2013-14 season, performed at the Depot Studio Theater in June, is Leaving Iowa. The critically acclaimed play, Leaving Iowa, by Tim Clue and Spike Manton, is a hilarious, family-friendly comedy that is a toast to the idealism and character of parents from the greatest generation, and a little roast of their dedication to the family road trip. His comedy about family and family vacations is a show suitable for ages 10 through 110 and was nominated Best New Play of the Country by the Detroit Free Press and one of SoCal, Southern California's theater's 10 most memorable moments of the year after its run at the Laguna Playhouse, stating that the play included the most frighteningly realistic depiction of a family summer road trip that the reviewer has ever seen, and we take that as a compliment. Leaving Iowa is a postcard to anyone who has ever found themselves driving alone on a road, revisiting fond memories of their youth, economically staged for anywhere from 6 to 24 actors. The story centers on Don Browning, the middle-aged writer who returns home and decides to finally take his father's ashes to his childhood home, as requested. When Don discovers Grandma's house is now a grocery store, he begins traveling across Iowa in search of a proper resting place. Ultimately, Don's existential journey leads him to reconcile his past and present at an unpredictably and perfect final destination. Leaving Iowa first premiered at Jeff Daniels' Purple Rose Theater here in Traverse, in Michigan, where it broke box office records and received a nomination for the Best New Play from Detroit Free Press. Our season 2013-2014 isn't the only thing we're doing at the Playhouse. We have Reader's Theater, we have Good on Paper, we have Young Company. Take a listen. Our Playhouse improv group, Good on Paper, returns to the Playhouse on October 10th and every other Saturday until May, with holiday exceptions, of course. Doors open at 10:30 and the performance begins at 11 p.m. Free coffee and sticky buns, I presume, will still be offered. I would call the Playhouse on the nights, on that opening night, October's, since Les Miserables plays that night, and we just don't know how long the play will run yet. We'll know a little bit later. I'll let you know that. Good on Paper will open immediately after the performance, though. As always, our Reader's Theater, Aged Perfection, meets weekly and Saturday mornings in the Schmuckel Theater in the lower level of the Old Town Playhouse at 10:30 a.m. The group performs all around the city, and when I find out where they're performing, I'll let you know so you can go view their activities, but you're always invited and welcome at these Saturday morning meetings in the lower level. Our Young Company has several plays coming this beginning season of 2013. They're going to be the little Broadway show, Disney's The Little Mermaid Jr., and I'll be talking about auditions in just a few minutes, and then the studio production of Beverly Cleary's Ramona Quimby. Those will both be coming in, and that one is December 9 and 10 of this year. Of course, we'll still have more performances and productions from the Young Company in the year 2014. Information on that coming shortly. Over the summer, we lost a dear friend of the Playhouse and of Traverse City, Brian Crow. He was a former executive director of the Playhouse and director of the Downtown District Association. Brian, we shall miss you. All right, just to sum up our program here, we have auditions coming this month in September. The first one will be The Dining Room. It'll be on main stage at 7 o'clock in the evening, from 7 to maybe 9, depending on how many people are there. It'll be September 9 and 10. Make sure that you read the script. That's what he'd like you to know. And then follow in the same day, only earlier, 4 to 6 o'clock. I should have maybe moved those around. We'll have the Young Company audition of Disney's The Little Mermaid Junior. It's a little Broadway show, 9 and 18 years old, or 218. And then the Young Company's junior studio production of Ramona Quimby. And that'll be September 23rd, again, downstairs, 4 o'clock curtain, or 4 o'clock audition. And that's the audition notice for September. Speaking of getting involved, have you considered auditioning? No? Have you considered getting involved in a volunteer backstage area? If you have, did you know that when we put our 24 to 30 people on stage for Les Mis, we have as many, if not more, working behind the scenes in some form, maybe not during the show, but certainly by set construction, costuming, properties. There's a lot of stuff going on backstage that we can use support, and if you'd like to get your feet wet at the Old Town Playhouse, I would like you to come to the Playhouse during auditions, watch the process if you would like, and then put your name in, and we'll be glad to call you and get you involved wherever you feel fit. Lights, sound, costumes, all sorts of different things. And now, I've run out of information for this month. I feel confident about the information I present. However, it is always a good thing to call the box office for times. Things change before when I get them and the show begins. You might want to call the Old Town Playhouse box office, look at their website. There's a huge resource there, the current times and events for all these issues. I leave you with a clip from Les Mis, which we recorded last week. It's a rehearsal. It's one of the songs we sing. And during that, we're going to run the credits and get ourselves out of here. I'm Don Kuehlhorn. Make sure you make a date with drama.